The weight of Brooke Logan's anguish settled like lead in Deacon Sharp's chest. He had seen her broken before, hell, he'd broken her once, but this time, something was different. It wasn't just heartbreak. It wasn't scandal or betrayal or some short-lived drama. This was deeper, more hollow. After Finn's death, after the fallout from Nick's deception, after years of holding herself together in a world that never gave her room to breathe, Brooke had begun to crumble. Not loudly, quietly. The kind of collapse that happens behind closed doors when no one's watching. Deacon was watching. And for once, he didn't want to fix her just to get close to her. He didn't want to be the rebound or the mistake or the fling. He wanted to build something real. Steady. Redemptive. So while the rest of the Foresters hovered and judged and whispered, Deacon moved with quiet determination. He didn't tell Brooke. He didn't tell Hope. He didn't even tell Sheila. He just made a decision. He bought the lot next to Il Giardino. It wasn't prime real estate. The coastal zoning laws made it expensive. The permits were a nightmare. But he didn't care. He signed the contracts. He liquidated what little savings he had. Then he did the unthinkable. He mortgaged Il Giardino itself. The restaurant was his life. His legacy. The one place he built from scratch, without help, without lies. And now it was collateral. Because Deacon wasn't just starting a business, he was building a lifeline. A recovery center. A sanctuary for people like him. People like Brooke. People like Liam Spencer. The name came to him late at night, the second shore, not a rehab clinic. A second chance. On paper, it was a progressive outpatient facility designed to address addiction, trauma, and relapse in high-functioning adults. But for Deacon, it was a personal crusade. It was for everyone who'd ever fallen and been told to stay down. He hired architects. He consulted addiction counselors. He brought in contractors with records and pasts and baggage, people who needed work as much as he needed them. And Liam. Liam was going to be the face of it. Not as a spokesperson. As a patient. Deacon knew the truth. The guilt over Finn's death had hollowed Liam out. He was drinking more. Avoiding his kids. Spiraling behind a polished mask. Nobody wanted to say it out loud. But Deacon had been there. He recognized the signs. And he didn't judge him. He offered him a slot. Private, anonymous, no press. Liam hadn't agreed yet, but he hadn't said no either. That was enough for Deacon to keep pushing. But someone else was watching too. Sheila Carter. She had been drifting on the fringes of Deacon's life, quieter than usual, waiting for an opportunity to reinsert herself. At first, she thought his sudden disappearances and late-night meetings were about Brooke. Then she followed him. And what she found was bigger than she expected. Construction crews, permit files, a bold new vision, and a mountain of personal risk. Deacon hadn't just bet on his dream. He'd bet everything. Sheila pulled the mortgage documents. She found the bank details. Il Giardino was leveraged to the edge. One missed payment and the place would be gone. And Brooke? She didn't know a thing. Neither did Hope. Sheila saw it all come together in one horrifying, beautiful realization. Deacon was vulnerable. She showed up at his apartment that night, slipping through the back door like she always did. "You've been busy," she said, waving a copy of the mortgage agreement. He froze. "What the hell are you doing?" "Trying to help," she said. "Or hurt, depending on how you handle this conversation." He tried to grab the paper, but she pulled back. "I'm impressed, Deacon. Really. This dream of yours? It's admirable. And risky. And incredibly dumb. I didn't do it for you." "I know," she said. "You did it for her." She let the word her hang in the air like poison. "She doesn't see you," Sheila added. "Not really. You're just the convenient fallback. The safe distraction. But she'll never choose you. Not over Ridge. Not even over Bill." Deacon's jaw clenched. "Get out." "I could," she said. "But then I might trip and drop this little mortgage document on the doorstep of the Chronicle. Or the LAPD. Or, I don't know, Liam's father. You wouldn't. I would. Unless you give me what I want. And what's that? A seat at the table, Sheila said. A stake in the center. I want in. He blinked. You want a piece of the second shore? Yes. No, then I blow it up. I take the whole thing down. You lose Il Giardino. You lose Brooke. You lose everything. Deacon stared at her. You're insane. I'm smart, she said. And I'm offering you protection. You think you can build a center that changes lives and nobody's going to come digging? That the foresters won't find a way to destroy it just because it has your name on it? You need someone who knows how to fight dirty. I don't want it dirty. You don't get to have clean hands, Deacon, she said. Not anymore. You want this dream to survive? You need me. He didn't respond. She walked to the door and turned. Think about it. Call me when you're done playing the hero. She disappeared into the night. Deacon sat down, sweating, shaking, trying to breathe. The next morning, construction continued. The center took shape. Word began to spread, subtle whispers among recovery circles. Articles leaked to small outlets about a new, bold treatment model. Deacon stayed quiet. Brooke asked questions, but he lied, said it was a business expansion. She smiled. She believed him. Liam called. He wanted to talk. Deacon met him in a dark corner booth at Il Giardino. Liam looked like hell. Unshaven. Tired. Lost. I'm not okay, he said. I know, Deacon replied. That's why I built this. For you. For people like us. Liam was quiet for a long time. Then he nodded. I'll do it. Deacon exhaled, feeling like, for once, he was finally doing something right. But that night, a press release leaked. Not from Deacon. Not from the center. From Sheila. Deacon Sharp risks beloved restaurant in reckless rehab gamble. The headline exploded across gossip sites, talk shows, even financial blogs. Details about the mortgage, the construction delays, the shaky funding, everything was out. Liam backed out immediately. Brooke stormed into Il Giardino the next morning with fire in her eyes. You mortgaged the restaurant? She shouted. I was going to tell you, you lied to me again, Deacon. It was for a good reason. There's always a reason. And just like that, it began to unravel. But Sheila didn't care. Because with every thread Deacon lost, she gained one. And the second shore? It was built on a fault line. And it was already starting to crack. The fallout from the press leak scorched everything in its path. Deacon's dream was hanging by a thread. Liam walked away, his trust shattered. The press had a field day, spinning the narrative into headlines that labeled Deacon everything from desperate to delusional. Investors backed out. Permit delays intensified. And worst of all, Brooke Logan, whom Deacon had tried to protect with every lie, every half-truth, stood in the middle of Il Giardino and looked at him like a stranger. I thought you changed, she said, voice trembling. I thought this time was different. It is different, Deacon pleaded. I didn't do this to hurt you. I did it to prove I could build something real. You should have trusted me, she said. Not protected me. Then she turned and walked away. That night, Deacon sat alone in the darkened restaurant, nursing a glass of bourbon he didn't even want to drink. The second shore project was in limbo. Contractors were bailing. Permits were stalled. And Sheila was silent. She didn't need to gloat. The silence was louder than any of her threats. He knew what she wanted. She thought she'd won. But Brooke wasn't done. 2 days later, she showed up at Il Giardino again. This time, without makeup. No dramatics. Just steady, sober purpose in her eyes. You didn't have to mortgage your dream to prove anything to me, she said. You already did. Deacon stood frozen. I've spent most of my life choosing the wrong man for the wrong reason, she continued. Ridge, Nick, Bill, they all made me feel like I was fighting to be enough. But you've spent every moment trying to be worthy. I'm not perfect, Brooke. Good. Because I don't want perfect. I want real. She stepped forward. I'm done running in circles. I'm done waiting for Ridge to choose me, or Nick to grow up, or anyone else to decide I'm worth it. I choose you, Deacon. He stared at her like he couldn't breathe. You mean that? She nodded. All in. You and me. And that center? You're not building it alone anymore. He took a breath so deep it hurt. Then he grabbed her and kissed her like it was the first time all over again. They were in it together now. And Sheila, she didn't see it coming. The next morning, Brooke Logan held a press conference on the construction site of the second shore. She stood in heels in the gravel, wind blowing her blonde hair as she looked every camera dead in the lens. Recent reports about this project were based on half-truths and designed to damage its founder, she said. Well, I'm not here to clean up the mess. I'm here to stand in it. Deacon Sharp didn't build this to impress me. He built it to save lives. And now I'm backing him, personally, publicly, and financially. Gasps rippled through the media. Questions shouted. She ignored them. I've made mistakes. So has he. But I'm done apologizing for loving someone who refuses to give up. That's the kind of man I want in my life. That's the kind of man I'm proud to call mine. And then, looking straight at the reporters again, she added one last line, and to whoever thought leaking lies to destroy this, come for us again, and you better come harder. Sheila saw the clip from her hotel suite. Wine glass in hand, she dropped it. It shattered on the floor. She didn't blink. She didn't speak. She just stared at the screen. Brooke Logan had declared war. Not passively. Not indirectly. She hadn't run to Ridge or cried to Hope. She had walked into the fire with Deacon and dared the world to try and drag her out. She had chosen the one man Sheila thought she could control. And now that man was out of reach. Deacon was no longer leverage. He was loyal. And Sheila hated nothing more than loyalty she couldn't break. Days passed. Sheila tried calling him. He didn't answer. She sent flowers to I.L. Giardino. They were returned unopened. She showed up once, uninvited. Brooke met her in the parking lot before she even reached the door. If you take one step closer, I'll bury you in lawsuits you'll never crawl out from, Brooke said, voice like steel. Sheila smirked. You really think you've won him? No. I know I have, Brooke said. And I know what you want. Power. Chaos. Deacon. You can't stand that someone's choosing me instead of being manipulated by you. You've always been weak, Brooke. No, Sheila. I was scared. There's a difference. But now? I've buried husbands. I've raised children. I've survived every scandal, affair, betrayal, and loss this town could throw at me. And I'm still standing. You can't break what's already been forged in fire. Sheila stepped back, eyes narrowing. This isn't over. Brooke smiled. It never is. But you won't win this round. Not with him. Not with *me. With Brooke's public support and private funding, the second shore resumed construction within days. New investors lined up. The scandal flipped, no longer a tale of recklessness, but of resilience. Liam reconsidered. He asked for a confidential assessment. Hope, seeing the depth of Brooke's belief in Deacon, finally said she was proud of her father. And Deacon? He rebuilt not just the center, but himself. Every brick laid by the second shore was now a monument to Brooke's defiance. And somewhere, in the dark, Sheila Carter watched the walls go up, knowing for the first time in a long time that she had truly lost. And Brooke Logan, after a lifetime of chasing men who always left, had finally chosen one who stayed.